In an era where everyone thinks their opinions are so damn important, I'm here to give you a little piece of my mind. Welcome to Unaffiliated the Podcast with your host, B. Seth. Let's go.
What do you expect out of your significant other?
I would say, and I know we can go back and forth, but I guess, of course, you want them to be obviously into you. You wouldn't have in a relationship if that wasn't a thing. So obviously being able to, on a regular basis, show that, hey, you're the person I want to be with, I'm interested in.
Oh, let's unpack that.
Okay.
So you, like everybody, you require reassurance.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's important. Just to, because everybody, I think, like how they talk about being in relationships for a certain period of time, getting comfortable. Like you stop doing
and then
that.
Forget to reassure your person that, you know, they look good or they're the one for them and shit like that.
Yeah, like you need that. Because then if a random person on the street comes along, and that's not saying that you're just going to jump at that like and cheat because somebody says you look good.
Some people do.
But, well, yeah, some people do. But, I mean, if it's still, it's like it's going to make you feel good. It's like, damn, that was nice. It's like, you want to be able to go home and get that same kind of, that feeling, that endorphin boost from like somebody giving you a compliment. You want to be able to get that from the person you're with.
So us men, what we're saying here is us, even as men, we require reassurance from our women.
Yeah. And I think, and it's going to come in different ways. So like maybe appreciation.
Is it vocally? Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Is it vocally? Is it just the energy? Is it, you know, what is it? Go ahead.
And I think same kind of thing. A lot of that stuff depends on you, the person. But I do think it's a little bit of kind of like how you said that reassurance. So it might be in just showing that you see some things that they're doing. Like I appreciate, you know, taking care of me. I appreciate you fixing this. I appreciate you getting me this,
right? You
know, or that energy they're bringing. Like I'm happy to be around you. I'm happy that we're spending time together. Like that energy, whether it be, you know, physical, like showing it in a physical way, hugs, kissing, you know, whatever. Like it can come in different ways as long as it's coming in some type of way.
I had a conversation earlier and I was like, in the past, 20 years ago, not calling anybody out. I've been in situations where it felt like the girl was trying to compete with me. For me, I'm traditional, right? So I like to pilot the ship. Any ship that I'm aboard, I like to be in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of people share that mindset. So I think for me, it doesn't necessarily work for me when somebody's trying to compete for that versus let's just figure out how we can use our own strengths and our own weaknesses and make this work to be submissive. Mm-hmm. So that's essentially what I'm chopping it up to. Also, by the way, if the man or me or you isn't in a position for you to submit to them, I completely understand that. That makes sense. You have to be a man who has his shit together, X, Y, and Z, for a woman to submit. Mm-hmm. But that's how I see relationships.
When we talk about submission, what are we saying? Are we, when it comes down to it, like if there's a decision be made, we're on opposite sides, whoever gets to say so.
Exactly.
The other person submitting.
Exactly.
And I feel like a lot, and, you know, that's, you know, especially nowadays.
Say that again, actually. Okay, let me reiterate what you said.
Okay.
And this is very extreme, by the way, because I do believe in, like I said, strengths and weaknesses. Mm-hmm. We can pick up each other's slack and shit like that. But if there has to be an executive decision where somebody has to put their life on the line, we're going extreme here, right?
Yeah.
I expect to be the one to do it.
And I guess that's especially nowadays in this era of equality and all that, which is great. It should be. I think it's very hard for women to just be like, you got it. Unless they really, kind of like how you said, the man has to show without a shadow of a doubt, like, hey, I know what I'm doing. I'm smart. Like we're both smart, but hey, I know, like if I'm making a decision and we're on different sides, I assure you, I'm going to make the decision and I got it. And any repercussions from that decision, I will also take.
Well, you have to be deemed fit to be submitted to.
Yeah. And
so that's a whole nother, for sure. Like if you're not deemed that, you can expect that, right?
And I think that's the big part about finding, which is hard, finding the right person.
Of it. The other part of it is I do think there are a lot of women who just don't want to submit.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, to each its own. That's perfectly fine. That's
a conversation that needs to be taught, whether it be by parents in church, somewhere, or it needs to be a conversation. Because when I say talk, because then people be like, teaching women to be submission, blah, blah, whatever. You just need to have the conversation needs to be had. And even if you're a woman, it's like, okay, I don't want to submit. At least you're going into it, having that conversation, knowing that, hey, this is probably something that a man's going to want. It's probably going to be a roadblock. I want to have, this is going to be a conversation I'm going to have like up front versus waiting until you get in a relationship and dealing with it.
Well, why can't submission be taught? Because, quote unquote, we're taught how to be proper men from our fathers. If we have a together household, right? We're supposed to be taught how to be men, right? Mm-hmm. Why can't submission be taught? Why can't the idea of submitting, the idea of being the head, I feel like that idea is taught, right?
Yeah.
Why is it the opposite not taught?
And I think because it's such a touchy subject, especially now.
Because nobody wants to feel insubordinate. But for me, it's not about insubordination. It's about everybody playing their strengths and weaknesses. Let's play our role.
Yeah. And you can still be submissive and still be just as strong. But I feel like I said, especially now with equality and all that, it's like women can do the same stuff men can do. Women can make the same decisions men can make. And so nobody really wants to touch it. And especially now, too, with
women making a lot of money. Because if your chick is making more money than you can't really.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be tough.
So then is it the spirit of submission, or is it logical to submit if I'm doing better than them? It gets fuzzy. It gets really fuzzy. It depends on what the person believes. But according to society, the person who's making more money, they're going to be in that driver's seat. But most men with money, they tend to want that leadership role. I think communication is key, honestly. Somebody who can properly communicate their feelings when shit is bad.
Bad for sure. Mm-hmm. But I would say across the board, just because in the good times, that means that's when the reinsurance comes in.
Agreed.
That's when all the good feelings and being able to express that versus just living in the moment, which is cool, like in a good moment, whatever's going on. Being able, like just take marriage, like you get married, being able to say how much you love that person, how much you care about that person, things they do for you. Being able to.
Is that not to get on some other shit, but is that your love language?
What?
Words of affirmation?
It's part of it.
I can tell. Like, this keep coming back to the compliments.
And not even just compliments, just like, I think it's big for anybody. Like, even if it's something small, like even somebody who doesn't care about words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Like, if it's something like hardworking who does not care about you saying lovey-dovey shit at all. Mm-hmm. His shit might be just coming home, having a home-cooked meal. Like, the fact that you come home and you cook the meal. That's all you need. And now that's not saying that women you just gotta cook. That you gotta cook. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying in that example, that's for him. That means something to him. That he comes home and there's a meal there.
Well, I think the communication is so you can figure out your partner's love language.
Oh yeah,
because there's a lot of people in the world who aren't willing to adjust to this person that they found interest in. They're not willing to adjust to their love languages. So many people are accustomed to giving love how they expect to receive it.
Yeah.
So in that situation, they keep giving love in their opinion, but this other person isn't interpreting it as love because that's not how they receive love. Mm-hmm. So that's where the communication comes in. But also, once you communicate it, are you willing to budge? Are you willing to make yourself uncomfortable to pacify or to just make your partner more comfortable?
Boy, that boy preaching. But yeah, that's important. And I think you're lucky if you meet somebody with the same love language as you, because then you don't have to teach them.
We're constantly evolving, like you're saying. So
You should anyway.
you're supposed to, and even if you digress, whatever, you're still changing. You're going in a different direction, right? So I guess for me, why I respect 40, 50-year marriages so much, like even through all the evolution as two individuals, y'all have still stayed aligned with each other. I listened to a quote from 21 maybe like a week ago. He was on the Breakfast Club and they asked him, would you rather have love or loyalty or something? And he said, man, I'd rather have loyalty, because you can love somebody and kill them. But if you're loyal to that person, you don't want to see nothing but the best for that person. Love is like I said, like if it's not a choice, it's an emotion. If that's how you see it.
Yeah,
So it can be hate. It can be rage. I think hate and love are cousins. Like for real.
Flip real good. Like if a person you love and that's how their emotion flips on, like does
And
anything,
they do some shit and you ready to kill them now? That's love. It was just altered. You know what I mean? So like, no, I fuck with what you said, staying sturdy and just like being down, like loyal, like want the best for me at all times. And I always want the same for you.
And willing to weather the storm. Like
right.
if you're willing to stay loyal, even when things aren't great, even when I'm not at my best, you're willing to, like, I know this person, I care about this person. They've shown and proven that they're a solid person, so I know they're going to get to a better spot, so I'm staying here.
Be sure to follow Unaffiliated the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and now on YouTube.